All right, welcome to Command Refresh. We're going to be focusing on the things that you absolutely must do inside of Command. Even if you don't want to use it for every other amazing feature that it does, these are going to be the essentials that you want it for. I didn't want to do that. I'm going to start off by sharing my screen. And I do have one person in the room physically, so I will be looking away at times so I can look at him. And then I'll also be looking right back here. So please don't feel that I'm ignoring you. I'm looking at other people in the room. And we are going to be starting off by going into command, which is agent.kw.com. And when you log in, your home screen may look like this. It may not, because I have customized my home screen. I'll do that. To customize your home screen, there is a button right here. It says Customize Home. Customize Home right there. If I click on that, it's going to allow me to move things around, make it easy in the way I want to. So I have all the widgets open, and I have at the top my tasks and then my recent leads right next to it, because these are the two most important things for me. The important things for you may be different. Maybe the database health is important, so it's going to be at the top. And maybe product updates are more important than the notepad, so I move that to second. I'll click apply, and then move it around on my screen. So you can absolutely move those around on yours as well. I'm gonna move mine back because I like seeing what I have to do first. So the first thing that we must always do inside of command is what? What is the first thing we do? If we're going to use this for only one thing, and that one thing is putting our transactions in for compliance, what are the steps that we're going to take? What's the first thing we're going to do?
The only thing that we're doing.
Yep. The only thing we're using for is just for transaction. What's the first thing we do?
You have to create a contact.
Yes, we create a contact because you have to have a contact in there to be able to do a transaction with them. So we're going to create the contact. I'm going to come over to the contact app, which is on the side. You can't see it physically in the screen because it cuts it off, but it's the person inside of the square. I'm going to click on that. And once it loads up, you will see all your contacts in here. If you don't have any contacts in there, this will be blank. To add a contact, you're going to click the Add Contact button over here in the right-hand corner underneath your name. And you're going to start filling in this information. The bare minimum that you need for a contact is just a name. So let's make up a name here. We're going to call this person Jolly Herbert. So Jolly is going to be our contact in here. If I click on this Add a Relationship button, it's going to give me an option of what kind of relationship I want to add, either spouse, father, mother, son, daughter, brother, sister, sibling, parent, child, sibling, parent, so on and so forth. There's a lot of different relationships you can have. I'm going to add a relationship, and we're going to say it's Jolly's house, and Jolly is married to Holiday Herbert. And now Holiday Herbert is not in here. So I'm just going to click the Add button. That Add button created a contact for Holiday Herbert, but the only thing in their contact card is going to be their name. But they're connected now. So when we go in the transaction, we'll see Holiday pop up for Jolly and Jolly pop up for Holiday. I can add an email. I can add a phone number. I'm not going to put a phone number in here because if it's not real, they will sense that it's not real. And if it's also a duplicate, they will also not take it. So if somebody has the same phone number, you want to put a different phone number or leave it blank. So let's say Jolly and Holiday have the same phone number, a landline. I would just put that phone number in either Jolly or Holiday and leave the other one blank in there. I can use the lead source type. So if I leave it as select from list, I have the list of lead source right here. I click on that, I can see the whole list. Now let's say there's a different way that we got this contact. So I can start typing. Let's say I met them at Target. I'll say shopping. So there is no shopping in the list. So I'm just going to click create custom source. And it's going to ask me the source categories, prospecting. It wasn't. It was kind of just miscellaneous. So I'm going to choose the miscellaneous in the category, and then I'll click add. So now the lead source is from shopping. I can either mark it as a lead, which means I haven't actually talked to this person. I just have their information. So maybe I got them from Command Facebook lead. That is just information. So they're still a lead. Once I start actually initiating a relationship with them and speaking with them, they become a contact at that point. So we'll say Jolly. We'll leave Jolly not marked as a lead. Add to sales pipeline. This is going to take us directly into opportunities as soon as we click create to create a opportunity for Jolly. Tags. Tags are used to put people into groups. So I met Jolly while shopping, so I'm going to create a shopping tag. And shopping does not exist in there. It's not a system tag, so I'll click create custom tag. And I'm going to assign a color to red, and I'll click the add button. So now there is a red tag in here. And I'm going to add one more tag so I can, we'll just say, we're going to add a system tag. System tags are these grayed out ones. They've already been created. They came with the system. You can't delete them. Let's say Jolly's an agent, but she's also a buyer. And then I'll click create. So Jolly has been created. I'm just going to search for her to make sure that she went in there. Yep, there she is. And she is tagged as from shopping. She's an agent. She's also a buyer. All right, so the contact has been created. What's the second step now? The second step is to create an opportunity. So an opportunity is a full transaction, and an opportunity can start at the very beginning of this relationship. So let's say I met Jolly shopping, and she was talking about possibly listing her home. Great, let me give you my card. I can create an opportunity off that. I can create that and say it's cultivating. So I'm going to click on opportunities. Jolly wants to sell. So once I'm in here, I see 3 pipelines, the listings, buyers, and leases. We're not going to have anything in leases usually. We focus on listing and buyers. So I'm going to click create opportunity. And it starts off in the market center. It will be the Inglewood Market Center. If you are in multiple market centers, please be sure to check which one you are in while you're creating it. So if you're in an out-of-state market center, you want to make sure that you're in the correct state along the correct market center, depending on where you create that opportunity. The opportunity type, this is where we're choosing between listing and a buyer. Listing, buyer, so she's listing a property, so we'll leave it on listing. The owner, I am the owner of this opportunity. If I was on a team, it would usually be the team Rainmaker. So for example, we have a couple teams in the office. It would be whoever is running that team as the owner. Client. So this is where I'm going to type Jolly's name. So there's Jolly Herbert. And because we have a relationship with Jolly with Holiday Herbert, I can click this drop down for co-seller, and there's Holiday. Opportunity name. The way I like to have opportunities named is by the address. It's automatically going to create an opportunity name using the client name. This is not the most efficient way, because what if Jolly was an investor and she has 15 properties she wants to list with you? You can't have them all Jolly Herbert, but you can have 15 addresses because those are all in unique individual ones. So I'm going to say this is not only do I put just the street address, I don't put the city, town, unless you have multiple 8765 Lancaster Avenues. There's usually just one in here that we need. So I'm going to leave that dash listing in there also. Just makes it easier to find if we're using all opportunities. Custom tags, this is going to work very similar to the way that it does in contacts. So custom tags, I like to call them though by property type or transaction type. So maybe it's an REO. It's a bank-owned property. Then you're a buyer and they want to buy a bank-owned property. I could call it REO. And it doesn't exist. So I could click create REO and it's going to be the same thing. Very similar to the contacts. It is not. So this is a single family home. So I'm going to call initials SFR, single family residential. Maybe it's waterfront. That's spelled wrong. Maybe it's an investment. So it doesn't exist. So I'll click create investment and there it is. So I'll leave these two tags in here. This is good to use when you're trying to find out where your transactions are, or what kind of transactions they are for in your metrics. So you can say, oh, I have a majority of single family homes. Let's focus on single family homes. Or maybe you have a majority of condos and then you should just start focusing on condos more. It helps you find your one thing when you're using it for filters. Don't have an estimated close date yet because we're just cultivating this relationship. Don't have a listing price yet. Commission rate, it's your half. I'm going to say that we possibly sign for 6%. I'm guessing we can change this before anything is absolute. So I'm putting my half of the commission rate in here. And we are starting in cultivate and they are watching. So these three may be different than your three that you have in there or more because I customize these. So I'm just gonna leave it at watch. Actually, I'm gonna switch it to nurture, leave it on nurture and I'll click create. So this just created this is the inside of the opportunity. This is the opportunity dashboard. I'm actually going to go into the pipeline first, and we're going to talk about that real quickly. Just a basic overview on what you should be doing with it. So this is cultivate. Here it is in nurture. As we go through the transaction, we're going to drag this along with us. So let's say that an appointment has been scheduled, things like that. I can move it up into appointment by dragging it from the handlebar. And now it's an appointment. And this is to make an appointment. It's been scheduled. The appointment has been kept. And we're just doing a follow-up, maybe a thank you for listing with us. Thank you for meeting with me. Just all those decisions on what needs to be done. So let's say we listed, and then I'll move it to active. Go into active. Doing the same thing. I'm moving it through the stages here. We'll get to under contract once we have a contract, but I'm going to leave it in showing under active for right now while we're working. So when we're in the opportunity dashboard, we want to focus on this documents area here. If this is our listing, we are going to select from listings. And a new box is going to pop up. It's going to say only my listings, or I'm going to switch it by clicking this button to all listings. And then I'm going to search for the address. Oh my goodness, I need a fake address or a real address that'll pop up. So I'd search for the address in here. There we go. I'm just going to say this one is it. I'm using this address as just an example, but let's say it's the actual 8765 Lancaster. So now they're connected together. It fills in this property information. Once I click on documents, I'm going to pick a checklist type. So the documents area is where we're going to be doing our compliance for all of our paperwork. So I'm picking the checklist type, and it's a residential home that we're selling. And it now gives me the checklists. So for all my listing paperwork, here's a list of all the paperwork that I need. So it's required that I have an exclusive listing agreement. It's required that I have a residential listing form. It's required that I have a seller's property disclosure, so on and so forth. For everything that says required, you must have it to go through compliance. There's conditionals down here, and then it'll have the condition right next to it. So it is conditional to have the lead-based paint disclosure if the home was built before 1978. And then I would add the disclosure if that was true. The MLS waiver is conditional if they're not putting it in the MLS or they don't want you to put it in the MLS. HOA community disclosure is conditional if it's required. Same thing with the condo. And then there is optional. The optional is not going to ding you or push you forward in any way if they are missing or if they're there. But seller's estimated expenses is always nice to have for your client or customer. And same thing for the KWRG, frequently asked questions. Once you have paperwork, so if we're using DocuSign, my DocuSign is connected. I need to go get contracts and documents. So I'm going to click Start a Transaction. Now you may be using a different provider for your documents. You might be using Dotloop, you might be using Transaction Desk. We are using DocuSign because that's what Keller Williams is providing. And DocuSign, continue. So DocuSign we pay for already through our office fees. So I'm now in the room. They created a room for me with the title of the listing, and I'm going to click on details first. I'm going to go through and fill this out. This is actually a DocuSign class for this part, so we're not going to go deeply into it. I'm going to pull a couple of PDFs into here. Then we'll have an actual DocuSign class that goes over how to use DocuSign. So I'm just adding documents. We're going to be using these. As examples. Some of these I'm like, I don't know what these are. One more just to be thorough. All right. So we have PDFs in here now, and that's great. We need to start assigning documents because we have paperwork that has been completed. So the exclusive listing agreement, I'm going to click Add a File, and I click DocuSign. And I would choose which one the exclusive listing agreement is. So let's say this is it, and I'll click Assign. And that assigned it. If I want to attach multiple forms at the same time to save me my precious time, I'm going to click Attach Multiple Files. And I'm going to go, let's see, I need the residential listing form. I'm going to click Browse Files, or I can drag and drop it. I like to browse the files. Sorry. So right now it's in manual mode, which means it's going to browse my computer for them. If I click on DocuSign right up here at the top, it's going to give me an option to choose between the PDFs that are in that room. So let's say this is the residential listing form. This is the property disclosure. That's the real property information. We'll say this is the deed. And as you saw, as I continue to click forward through choosing the documents, it would eliminate that as an option. So you're not going to have getting confused on if I've already used it or not. Once I have these assigned, I'll click Attach. And it's going to attach the forms for me. Now let's pretend that I have all of my required documents in there. I'm going to click Submit to MC. Once I submit that, it's going to go to Rhoda, who's going to do our compliance to make sure that all of the lines are signed, everything is there. And then we are going to go to the next folder under Contract, which is right over here on the left-hand side. And I have a brand new list under a new folder. So this is when my contract is signed. I'm going to upload those documents here in the same way I would do under listed. And it's going to be the same thing under the closed. It is very important that you upload your closed documents. If you don't upload your closed documents, we will not be able to track your information and you won't be able to have accurate numbers for your accounting purposes either. Not accounting purposes, for your tracking methods as well. This also, if we don't have the proper closing deposits or closing documents, it makes it a little bit longer until you get your closing check sometimes, because we have to verify that everything has been closed. We need to ask for copies of things and then upload them into the system. So it just makes it a lot easier if you have them uploaded into here. And then once they're uploaded, I'll click Submit to MC. And these will all be completed. The closed documents happen after you, of course, close. So to get a DA, which is a distribution authorization of funds, during your under contract phase, you'll click Offers and Commissions, add a new offer. You can call it anything you like to. If you have a multiple offer situation, you can have several offers. So we're going to call this Offer 1. And I'll click Create Offer. The name is in here. When was the offer date? So that is the date that the potential buyer sent you their version of the signed sales contract. This is not the executed contract date. So let's say today is the offer date, and the closing date for this particular contract is going to be the 8th of September. And I'm going to click on Parties. Your side is automatically going to be filled in. So if you're representing the seller, their information from the contact card will be filled in and your information will be filled in. You just have to put a name for each of the other side. So we'll just say this is Happy, and the representation is Sneezy. We're going dwarfs here for a second. And I'm going to click on Terms. Now we're in the price breakdown. If you are only using one offer, you only have to put the final offer in either cash or finance amount, and it will come out in the sales price, the final contract offer. If you have multiple offers that you're looking to compare side by side, it is nice to break it down. So let's say the house is worth $1 million because, or the contract price is $1 million, and they're going to offer $300,000 in cash, and they're going to finance $700,000. Earnest money, they're going to put down, I'm going to just say $5,000. Oops. We don't have option fees. Termination option, maybe it's 15, because this is usually the inspection period for us. In today's market, it may be 0. A lot of it will be 0 for buyers, and then how much the seller will contribute. These are usually going to be 0 as well. But this all depends on the negotiations. It is not set in stone. It can always be different depending on the situation. Click Agent Analysis. This is an area where the agent can fill out the pros and cons and the summary of the deal. I haven't met an agent who's going to use this. I'll click Save. So I have the first offer in here. I'm going to add another offer so I can compare them side by side and show you what that will look like. 2. We'll say that it was also today, but they're going to close on the 26th. They're going to offer $900,000 to sit on their contract, but they're going to put down, oops, 5%. I'll have a 0 on this one, 0, 0, 0. Agent analysis, nothing in there. So now I have 2 offers. If I select all up here, this compare offers becomes active. I click on that, and now I can sit with my client or customer And I can say, okay, if you take a look at this sheet, which I can download or email the offer comparison right here. Offer number one is offering $900,000, cash $700,000, finance $200,000, so on and so forth. And I can go through this both sides and ask, which one would you like to choose? And then once they choose happy, because it's $100,000 more, you can report back those offers and commissions. They're choosing happy. Great. We'll click accept. It has been accepted. So now I'm going to click manage commission. Inside of manage commission, I'm going to click edit general information first, and I'm going to put the contract date. The contract date is when both parties have signed the contract. And it was offered, let's see, what was today? 9th. So we'll say the 11th was the accepted contract date. This is also where I can put if I am working for a flat fee. So let's say you're working with land, and that is a flat fee a lot. I can change this total commission to, let's say you're doing 1,000 for land. Put $1,000 in there. And I click save changes. Now remember, for doing that flat fee, and now I have to click edit agent payment. And now I click calculate commission to make sure that it's that 1,000 in there. I'll click save changes. So now that it's in there, $1,000, contract date, 8/11, close date on the 8th. I can scroll through. I can see that this is broken down, how much cap, how close I am to capping right here. Let's say I have a referral. I'm going to put my 3% back to make referral life easier. So if I have a referral, I'm going to click edit agent payment, scroll to the bottom, and then click add item. It's going to ask me what kind of element I want to add. I'm going to click this drop down, and I'm going to choose either between inside referral or outside referral. You can also choose a bonus, concession, or deduction. Let's say if it's an inside referral, it's anybody within this physical office. Outside referrals, anybody outside of this office, even if they're Keller Williams. So inside, I put an actual amount, let's say $2,000. Then I'm going to type agent, add. So here is the inside referral now. I can put deductions in here. So KW Cares, put $100 for KW Cares. Then I'll click Save Changes. So now it takes out all of my deductions. So my royalty comes out, company commission comes out, my referral comes out, and then my additional deductions for a net to agent $17,000 or $17,100. When I see this is correct, I will click submit, and you will receive a DA in your email. And those are the 3 things you absolutely must do inside of Command to get paid. Questions? It can be anything about Command now.
So that was for listing.
Yep.
To go through buyer scenario.
Sure. Yep. That's a good question. Justin asked me to go through a buyer's, and we will go through a buyer's. So I'm going to go back into opportunities. So creating the contact is the same no matter what. I'm going to click create opportunity here. And I'm going to change this. So I'm going to leave Englewood as my market center. My listing opportunity, or my opportunity, is going to be a buyer instead. I'm still the owner. My client, we'll make this Holiday. Jolly. So now my client that we're buying for is Holiday, and the co-buyer is Jolly. Now, the opportunity name is going to be a little bit different for a buyer. We're going to start off with their physical name. And then once they have a property that we're offering on, we're going to switch it to that address instead. So we're going to start with Holiday's name. Custom tags, it's going to be the same thing. What kind of, actually, you know what? I'm going to make this a buyer. So create buyer tag. And they're looking for a single family home. Estimated close date, we don't have one yet, but we do have a time frame of when they're looking to buy. Let's say within 6 months they're looking to buy. Their budget, we'll say 350. Commission rate, we're guessing because we don't know what our actual commission rate is. I'm going to do half of 6%, just 3. This is all done in negotiations though, and you can edit this when you need to. The opportunity phase will start it off in cultivate, and we'll have the nurture 1 to 12 months because they're looking within a 6-month period to buy. So I'm going to click create. All right, so this buyer's dashboard looks a little bit different than a listing dashboard, mainly because it doesn't have a seller's worksheet in here. And we don't have a property yet because we haven't found when we're putting an offer in. So we're going to pretend that, yeah, we're looking. Here's we're nurturing. They moved from nurturing into watching the market actively. They're hot, ready to buy. We have an appointment to look at houses now. So moved it into appointments. So we scheduled it, or we're in scheduling, moved to scheduled, kept. And now I'm going to move into active. So inside of active, my stage in here says searching. They're beyond searching now. We're actually showing. I'm not sure what the already created stages are. It's been a long time. Mine have been customized. So I don't know what's mine and what's the original anymore. So I have showing. And that's a 70% chance right here that they will go through with this buying of the property. So let's say, ooh, I really like working with you, Holiday, and I would like you to sign a buyer's agreement with me. Okay. So Holiday's like, sure, we can do that. I'm going to go in documents inside of the dashboard. I'm going to pick this checklist type, which is going to be a residential. So we actually have 3 different checklist types inside of buyers. We have a residential, a vacant land, and a new construction. Each has their own requirements. Residential has the most out of vacant land and new construction. New construction basically has upload the contract here because the company, the construction company, creates all the paperwork for you. They do everything. You want to read through it to make sure that it's correct and they're not trying to stiff you. I'm sure they wouldn't, but just to make sure that it's all correct. We're going to say residential. And the first folder in residential is the consultation. This is where I would have them sign that exclusive buyer's agreement, and I would get that from DocuSign. And that's in my DocuSign. Click start a transaction. So start transaction. And I want to click add DocuSign forms. Then inside of my KW910FL, oh, actually I can use my buyer's package. So here is my buyer sale package far bar, which is what I want. And I'm looking for
Add.
Yep, I clicked add.
DocuSign form.
Yep.
And then you click buyer sale package.
Yep, I'm on buyer sale package far bar. I don't think it's in that one. So I'm going to click KW910FL. I'm looking for the exclusive buyer's agreement. Which I'm not finding, so I might need to have it uploaded there. Oh, here it is. Buyer's agent working relationship. So I'll click add selected. I'm just going to open it up and make sure this is the one I'm thinking of. Yep.
Yes.
So when I clicked on the buyer's agent working relationship, this is the exclusive buyer's agreement that I'm talking about.
So that's not on the group's buyer sale package.
It's not. No, it's going to be under the KW910. And one of the reasons it's not is because this is not a legally binding contract.
Okay.
This is only like a nice way of saying you're going to work with me, and it says so in writing, but it can't be enforced in court.
Buyers.
Yep. So I'll click save and close. We're going to pretend that we have Holiday sign it for me. And now I'm going to click, I'm back in Command, click add a file. I can choose DocuSign. Okay, so it's not going to show it in here because it only shows PDFs inside of Command. So I'm back in Command. I click add a file. And then I clicked on DocuSign. Now it's not going to have it in here because it's not a PDF. Once it's signed, it becomes a PDF though. Okay. So it's empty. And I'll click cancel. So I'm just going to upload a PDF in here manually instead. So I'll click add a file and leave manual. Then I'm going to browse. I'm just going to choose a PDF. Let's say this. Open. Then I'll click assign. So I could submit this to MC. What is this? Oh, this is Key West Express. So I could submit this to the MC and they could approve it, but this isn't necessary. It's all optional. What our big focus is going to be is under contract. This is where a lot of our required documents are going to be. So the purchase contract, property disclosure, brokerage relationship disclosure, so on and so forth, all the way through here. Once you have all the required paperwork, so I'm gonna, once again, I'm gonna go into here, I'm gonna upload some PDFs.
You're in under contract section.
Yep, I'm gonna be in under contract, yep.
And then go to click on go to transaction.
Yes, yep. I clicked add and then computer.
Oh, you're
Yep.
numbers.
Yeah, I'm just pulling PDFs into here. That's not a requirement because in Command, you can pull it off directly from your computer. So you don't have to have them in here. So let's say it's time to upload my documents now. I have a good majority of these, so I'm going to click attach multiple files. If I've uploaded them into DocuSign, I can just DocuSign, or I can do it manually through this way, but drag and drop and browse. I'm going to use DocuSign now. Loading, come on. Okay. So I don't think it's syncing. So if it doesn't sync for some reason, I'm going to go back into details. And I'll click sync transaction. And then I'll click update. So now it'll show me items that have been synced into my between DocuSign and Command. So go back into documents. Go back into under contract. Then I'll click attach multiple files. Then I'll click DocuSign. Okay, for some reason, this doesn't want to load. Oh, there we go. So now purchase contract. Let's say this is the purchase contract. Don't have any addenda, don't have a counteroffer. Property disclosure. Okay, hold on. Let me take a look. Did you upload the DocuSign? that's why. So you will. Gotcha. So there won't be able to unless you have something signed in there. So there won't be a PDF.
Sure.
Okay, then let's finish this up
Yeah.
and then we'll look at that. Yep. So I'm selecting my next thing. I'm just adding my documents that are required. Then I'll click attach. Then I'll click submit to MC. And then we'll come to offers and commissions, which is going to be the exact same way we did inside of listings, except you'll do one, and that will be your offer that you sent them. And that is how you do a buyer's side instead. Any other questions? Oh, you're the only one up. So do you have any other questions I can help you with for this class? And then we'll sit together. Yeah.
No, I mean, that's. Command is where it's at. That's
Yep.
how we submit all our documents.
Yep.
To the market center.
Yep.
And I understand that there's a host of other great features behind it. This is 100%. I need to get this.
Yes, this is the only parts that you need to absolutely do.
Right.
Yep.
But that leads me to. I was successful in being.
Then we're going to work on that. Yep, we're going to work on that.
So.
So, all right, guys, thanks for joining us. I will see you later. Bye.